Fahad had come to his grandfather's village to spend his summer holidays after almost 3 years. The village was beautiful and lush green. In the center of the village stood an old well, a place that was usually full of life. Right beside it rose a massive banyan tree, ancient and watchful. But this time, Fahad saw no sign of activity there. The well looked abandoned, dry and lifeless. When Fahad asked his grandfather about it, he gave a strange answer.
Grandfather, why doesn't anyone go near the well anymore?
Ever since the dwarfs came, the water turned away from us.
Fahad was confused. Dwarfs? What dwarfs? His grandfather explained that the villagers believed a blue dwarf had taken control of the well. It lived hidden inside and had stopped the flow of water. Fahad listened quietly, but a storm of questions rose inside him. Dwarfs? Where? How? Do they really exist? There were no answers, yet the truth remained. The well had indeed dried up. One night, Fahad woke up with an uneasy feeling. Everything in the room was normal, but when he looked out the window, he saw a faint blue glow flickering around the well. He quietly stepped outside. The ground felt damp, as if it had just rained, even though the sky was perfectly clear. Slowly, he moved closer to the well. As he reached it, the wind suddenly stopped. The light was coming from inside the well. He leaned over and looked down. There was only blue mist, nothing else. Suddenly, the ground shook. Fahad lost his balance and fell inside. Blue smoke wrapped around him, and he was pulled into an entirely new world. Fahad hit the ground. Around him were rocky cliffs, twisted trees, and floating lanterns drifting in the air. This was the world of the dwarfs, beautiful yet dangerous. Before he could fully take it in, a dwarf appeared. Long ears, sharp teeth, a small body. It attacked him. Fahad stepped back and defended himself. Instantly, another dwarf lunged at him, but Fahad swung his arm and threw it aside. Both dwarfs screamed and vanished. Then a deep, echoing voice rang out.
You have courage, but your journey has only begun.
A strange dwarf stood before him, white beard, glowing eyes, dressed like winter itself. He was Neil King, the ruler of the dwarfs.
Why have you come here?
Why have you stopped the villagers' water?
If you want the water, you must complete 3 trials. Otherwise, you will wander here forever.
With that, he disappeared. Fahad closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and moved forward. Fierce winds, rolling boulders, danger at every step. Fahad leapt from stone to stone as the ground shifted beneath him. At one point he slipped, but grabbed hold of a thorny vine and saved himself. His hands were wounded, his arms scratched, but at last he crossed the valley. With a thunderous sound, a door opened, and he entered the next realm. This place was filled with towering mirrors. In each mirror, Fahad saw a different version of himself. One angry, one crying, one exhausted and broken. Suddenly, one mirror glowed. A shadow shaped like Fahad stepped out and attacked him. Fear surged through him, but he steadied himself. He closed his eyes and calmly walked toward the shadow. The shadow stopped. Then dissolved into mist and vanished. One by one, the mirrors disappeared. The next door had opened. Now Fahad stood beside a dried-up lake. In the center rose a tall pillar carved with the image of the village well. The Nile King appeared again.
This is your final trial. Save yourself or free the water.
Rings of fire burst to life around the lake. The pillar began to shake. Fahad gathered all his strength and started climbing. The pillar burned his hands, slipping again and again. Blisters formed. Flames leapt upward. Stones fell from above. At one moment, he hung by a single hand. Below him was a deep abyss. But Fahad did not give up. With one final effort, he pulled himself to the top. The instant he touched the summit, a blinding light exploded outward. The dry lake began to fill with water. The Nile King's screams faded into the distance, and the world of the dwarfs trembled violently. The next moment, Fahad opened his eyes. He was drenched
I can't
in
believe
sweat.
I did it!
Morning had arrived. He looked out the window and saw people gathered around the well. Fahad ran outside and peered inside. The water below shimmered and sparkled. Was it a dream or reality? Whatever it was, the truth remained. The water had returned. Children were laughing and playing around the well once more. Fahad stood quietly, smiling. True bravery is defeating the fear within ourselves. When we learn to believe in ourselves, the world begins to change.